Hey guys, Noel here, and it is Monday night, and while we've got a little bit of free time on our hands, so that would be fun to do one of our beloved live streams for the Noel ComiX YouTube channel. Tonight we will just be playing whatever we feel like. I know I've been doing more themes in the live streams, and I'm thinking we're going to start off by focusing on the SNES Mini, but we are not in any way, shape, or form limited to that. Never limited to anything particularly in our live streams. But I figured we'll just start off tinkering with the SNES Mini, and we'll take it from there. Probably play some Sega Saturn, maybe some PlayStation, some Neo Geo. I have the Commodore 64 1084S monitor fired up. So we'll be using that, not exclusively. We've got some very nice 80s Japanese commercials rocking and rolling in the background here. So good times being had by all. Diego, my home slice, how is it going? Super glad that you're here. So I was just saying to everyone out there in viewerland that we are going to, just kind of be playing whatever. We'll start off with the Super Nintendo Mini, and then we'll take it from there. The gold Famicom was sent out to our good friend Retro Zoltan for his modding services. So I pretty much made an extensive list of Japanese visual novels and RPGs that had been translated into English for the Shonen Jump Famicom, since so much of the Shonen Jump Famicom is based on RPGs and manga, obviously. I thought it would be cool to get as many games on that translated as possible, as well as some other games that I'm interested in. In fact, we could actually check out some of those games. We do have a game by the name of Metal Slayer Glory. This is a very, very cool Famicom visual novel that I actually haven't done too much with. So it might be fun for us to, check this game out as well. We're, again, certainly not limited to anything. Oh, another fun Famicom game. Golf 2 by Namco. Or as they're known in the 80s and 90s, Namcot. The Namco console people. So, yeah, this is actually a really fun game. So, again, it really pushes the Famicom's graphical powers. Of course, I left our gold Famicom box here because this is in very nice shape and I want to keep it that way. So anyway, there's that. So hopefully you were having a good day. I've got my hot cup of JoJo here. I've got some random Japanese commercials playing in the background. I've got it should be super fun. Super, super fun. We'll definitely be streaming that. The postman said that it would take about 2 to 3 days to get there. We're talking like upstate New York to New Hampshire. So I'm sure it won't take long. And then give him a few days to tinker around with it, and it should be good. Again, if you're watching, Retro Zoltan, check him out on... He's not on Etsy anymore, but he is on eBay. He does some really nice customizations for your mini consoles. He's a friend of the channel. He stopped by the live stream before, and I've been in email contact with him. So, super, super cool guy, and I want to give him, all kinds of props for his quality work. So, I've got some Kanebo for beautiful human life right here. So, Tony! Are my comments showing up? This is the first comment of yours I have seen. How the hell are you, my friend? So, Tony, the first comment I've seen of yours is, are my comments not showing up? You're on the screen right now. I can see you on the screen. So hopefully everything is good. Here, let me soothe your pain with one of my favorite Japanese commercials. Well, I hope you're having a beautiful human life. Hopefully we don't get in trouble for showing that. But, I mean, come on. Oh, and you know what else we've got? I'm sorry, I'm itching my arm with the camera's jiggling. We've got Japanese McDonald's. Look at that cascade of French fries. Just good stuff right there. Wonderful, wonderful styrofoam boxes right there. You gotta give the environment a little bit of a hit if you want that kind of style. So, doing great. Just got back from a trip to Niagara Falls. Very cool, man. That is, for those of you out in viewerland, not too far from where Tony and I live. It's not an insane trek to go to Niagara Falls, so that's cool. Hopefully, you had fun there. So, good stuff. Tony, what we are going to be doing is just playing various things, and we're going to start off by playing the Super Nintendo Mini, which is hooked up through HDMI to S-Video on the Commodore 64 1084S monitor. So it's looking very, 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 very sharp. Fun story, too, before we get down to playing. So, Tony, I don't know if you were here for this or not, but I know, isn't it like some of the most pretty music ever? Just watch that on a loop. In fact, we got to find out what that song actually is. If it's just a jingle for Kanebo or if it's something else, because a lot of the time Japanese commercials will play like legit pop music. Okay, so Tony, I think Diego heard this story. I don't know if you heard this story. So that Sony Trinitron over there, it's got 480i component video on it. So I try to use that, but the thing is with 480i component video, most HDMI to component devices don't support 480i because they all just assume that everyone's got a flat screen TV and no one is warped enough to want to put HDMI on this kind of TV. And people just say, oh, what are you so cheap for? Just go buy a flat screen TV. Well, that's not the point. I know I can buy a flat screen TV. I like flat screen TVs. I got nothing against them. But I'm a man with very specific aesthetic tastes. And I enjoy the CRT, right? So, I want to get the maximum power out of my Sony Trinitron CRT. So anyway, I found a Chinese website that seemed to have this hard-to-find device that was HDMI to 480i converter. 480i component video converter, and I got contact. They charged the card, and then I tracked the package, and I was like super excited because it said the package was in Portland. And then what did I get? I got this nice pair of knockoff Coach sunglasses, and that is my story there. But the funny thing is I got an email from said company literally last night. While I was having pizza with my family, and this is like a week plus after I'd sent them something saying, hey, you sent me Coach sunglasses, and these are probably knockoff Coach sunglasses. They're from China, so I don't know if they're exactly rolling. I paid like $50 for this converter box, and they sent me these quote-unquote Coach sunglasses. And they're like, oh yeah, we sent it to you. We sent you a new one. Here, well, I mean, that's basically what they said. They said, your order's on its way, here's your tracking number, and I was like, okay, and I checked the tracking number, and it was the same as the previous tracking number, so I have no idea what that even means. But I did find that converter box all of a sudden on Amazon, so maybe that company found it on Amazon, so I don't know, we should be actually getting that 480i HDMI converter box in the next few days. So, long story short is I ended up with a knockoff pair of Coach sunglasses, and, $70 later, we're going to get what we wanted in the first place. Nick, darling, how the heck are you? Sunglasses do convert sunlight to darkness, so it converts something. Yes. Well done. Well done. It's converting something. It's converting my anger into rage is what it's doing. That is amazing. You should put on the shades and pretend the Trinitron is doing 480. Alright, let's do it then, okay? Fine, we can do that. We should just pull the tag off of these. Yeah, you check that out. I am badass. That's what this is right now. I am all kinds of sauce. The swagger here is just pulsating through the telephone screen here, and I see everything in component 480i right now. It's fantastic. It's like HDMI, but with CRT smoothness, crispness, slightly less detail, very, very vivid colors. It's just everywhere. It's amazing. Wow, I should not have doubted this wonderful Chinese website. So, again, oh man, I'm back to reality. It's kind of disappointing, but yeah. So, you know, Coach. Actually, you know, these probably aren't the brand Coach. This is probably endorsed by the 90s sitcom Coach, starring Craig T. Nelson and Jerry Van Dyke. Yeah, that was a good show. It was. Speaking of Dick Van Dyke, I actually watch a lot of Dick Van Dyke after Columbo. So my Sunday routine goes Columbo, who's like that's like one of my all-time favorite shows. I always show off I have the Columbo box set right here. Anyway, so I watch Columbo, and that really helps me to relax because Columbo is the working man who brings elitist murderers to justice. And then, after Columbo, they have Collector's Call with Blair from The Facts of Life. So that's fun. So Blair from The Facts of Life hangs out with nerds who trade stuff. I dare you to play games with those sunglasses during the live stream. I'm kind of nearsighted, and they're not prescription. So, I don't know. I could do it, probably. I could do it, but I wouldn't be getting the maximum out of the pictures. Although, you know, we do. It's a Sony. All right. I don't know. I mean, like, I've got Final Fantasy VI going here, and I don't know. I think I'm going to play them without the shades, but we'll reference the shades periodically throughout the stream. So, the other thing is when you put this on, every person is Craig T. Nelson from Coach. So, it's actually, these are like magic glasses. It's awesome. Everything looks like it's from a very, very good television from the late 90s, early 2000s. And every person has the face of Craig T. Nelson from Coach. The coach of the Minnesota Screaming Eagles right there. And his girlfriend was Donna Reed's oldest daughter. So, yeah, it's some good stuff. So, good for you if you get the references that I'm making. Anyway, oh, you know what else is cool? That's got me worth my $50. I'm glad you're very understanding. I got this very nice cloth that I can clean my glasses with. And if you know me, you know I have a crippling addiction to Zenny's glasses. In fact, what might be fun that we could do on the stream in between playing games is for me to get my pile of Zenny glasses out and, you know, we can actually go through those. That should be pretty fun. So, okay. I'm just looking at John Travolta right here. Tokyo Drink. I love Japanese commercials from the 80s. Alright, it's been like 14 minutes here, and we have yet to play a game, so we need to get started here. I just love rambling about my struggles and watching Japanese commercials. It's the Return of the Jedi. Alright, that is a quality commercial. Remember, like, apparently everybody hates the new Star Wars movies. I only saw the first one. I thought the first one was pretty cool because it had the same plot structure as the first Star Wars, which is my favorite Star Wars. But then I heard the second Star Wars in that new trilogy was, like, complete and utter garbage. So I don't know, but I haven't seen it, so I can't actually make an official statement on it. Ooh, Famicom!
スタジアムの熱狂そのままにベースボール多彩なテクニックで楽しむテニス
Famicom is so pretty. Alright. Okay, we're gonna play some games here. Cool! Alright. Set up our camera like so. Ooh. Do 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 do. Sorry. Alright. Let me try to position this here a bit. Man, I had this camera all good to go before the stream here. Yeah, that's a good picture there. Okay. Let's get some gaming going. Gonna hit the lights, and we'll have some fun. It's Mega Man X. Alright. So, what should we start off playing first? The Super Nintendo Mini is quite good. And one of the big reasons I want to have the Super Nintendo Mini on this monitor is because for a game like Donkey Kong Country, which uses pre-rendered graphics, yeah, Mega Man X is freaking awesome, man. That uses these kinds of graphics that you're going to see here. I'm going to actually try to adjust our contrast. Maybe that'll help this show up a bit better on here. That's not working. Pumped it down too low. Anyway, yeah, there we go. Question is Final Fantasy VI only in Japanese? No, in fact, Final Fantasy VI is on the Super Nintendo Mini as Final Fantasy III. Because what ended up happening, Nick, is Final Fantasy 1 came out in the US, and then we got, we did not get the Japanese Final Fantasy 2 and Final Fantasy 3, so what the US ended up getting was Final Fantasy 4 was the next Final Fantasy the United States got on the Super Nintendo, and that was labeled Final Fantasy 2. The US did not get Final Fantasy V, so then we ended up getting Final Fantasy VI, which is really good. So on the Super Nintendo, Final Fantasy VI was Final Fantasy III, which is included on the Super Nintendo Mini. And it does not have the good Yoshitaka Amano box art, though, which is kind of lame. But then, once Final Fantasy VII came out, and they were just like, screw it, we're just going with the numerical numbers from Japan with PlayStation. The Final Fantasy VI did get released alongside of Final Fantasy V and the Final Fantasy Chronicles. And then Final Fantasy IV got released with Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy Anthology. And there's the story of that. Japanese commercials are awesome. Oh man, I was looking at Diego. Oh no, it's good. I went into a cape here. I thought sorry if the contrast is not showing up well on our camera here. This looks really good, but sadly, the transfer over to the monitor is. I'm gonna try to scoot in the screen a little bit more here. Maybe that'll help. But of course, now we're. There we go. Come on. All right. Donkey Kong Country. I was making sure I didn't miss something. I was trying to add games and couldn't find out. Final Fantasy III is the only one I haven't played. Final Fantasy 3 on the Famicom is really good. I actually played that in ROM form because I'm a huge fan of the Japanese Final Fantasy 3 commercial. It's got a one of those like 90s 3D cubes spinning around, and it shows this purple sky with lightning in the background, and it shows clips of the game, and then it goes like Saigon, Sodaina Drama, Final Fantasy 3, and then it shows this like really pretty Yoshitaka Amano artwork of this guy with two swords. So I actually have a really nice NES white Final Fantasy 3 cartridge that was custom made off of Etsy, and then I actually have the Famicom Japanese cartridge of Final Fantasy 3, which, you know, doesn't really do me a whole lot of good other than the fact that I can have that pretty cartridge to look at. So we could actually play that. Which is better, Super Mario or Donkey Kong Country? That's a good question. Probably Super Mario World, but Donkey Kong Country, only, I don't know, man. That's actually a hard question because, I mean, I'm going to go Super Mario World just because it's the, like, definitive Super Nintendo platforming game. But Donkey Kong Country is really, really fun, and it really was a good counterpunch to Sega. I mean, the thing is with Donkey Kong Country, by the time it came out, you know, Sega had, you know, done a lot of dominating in the quote-unquote console wars of the time. But it did give Nintendo the upper hand for, you know, part of 1995, you know, so... and visually, it's really, really good. I mean, you know, this game, especially on this monitor, looks stunning. And they were really able to graphically push the Super Nintendo Super Famicom to, you know, do things that, you know, the Sega 32X and the Atari Jaguar and the 3DO, you know, were, you know, doing or even struggling to do, and the Super Famicom was able to push it out natively with the help of all their, you know, all their tricks and technology. So, what type of Super Mario? Super Mario World? I prefer Donkey Kong Country 2. I'm a Sega guy, so I've never played Donkey Kong Country 2. Is that the Diddy Kong one? The one thing I like about Donkey Kong Country is that Donkey Kong in here is Donkey Kong Jr., and I really like Donkey Kong Jr. because I really, really like the ColecoVision Donkey Kong Jr., and I think Donkey Kong Jr. is very cute. I like that he's, you know, like a cute baby monkey in a onesie, you know, and he was in the original Mario Kart, which we can play on here, even though I'm terrible at it. So I like that, you know, he is the new Donkey Kong. I don't like that I fell down there, though. That's lame. Donkey Kong music is amazing. Yes, it is. Tony, you have an ear for music, man. So the only Donkey Kong Country I've played is the first one, and I definitely like it a lot. I mean, it plays like Mario with crazy good graphics. Donkey Kong games are so much more difficult than the Mario games. Donkey Kong Country 2 is by far the best Donkey Kong Country game. Interesting. Yeah, so when Donkey Kong Country 2 was out, I mean, I was playing, like, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you know, so... That was, you know, not that if someone, like, said, like, here, play Donkey Kong Country 2, I would have said, you know, go to hell, I like Sega. I mean, that's not what I would have done at all. Man, I'm doing horrendous at this. I don't know if I'm just not paying attention at it, or I'm not good at it, or what, but... Donkey Kong 2 is Diddy Kong. Dixie Kong is 3. The hype and fun for the original Donkey Kong was amazing. I remember, like, when the original Donkey Kong came out, people were saying it was the most graphically impressive game ever it's really good. The fact that the fact that the Super Nintendo is producing these images that are super smooth playing is definitely laudatory. I don't know if it's the best looking game ever, but it's really good looking. Damn it! What the hell is that? Ugh, freaking armadillo. Oh, game over. Thank you, Anthony. Let's take a look at that beautiful game over screen, though. Stunning. Alright. I think it's time we play a game that I lose slightly less at. Although I'm not particularly great at any of these games on here. Except, it's Street Fighter. Donkey Kong on the Game Boy looked amazing. Yes, I do remember that. Till the screen moved and everything became blurry soup. I'm still waiting on my Vaporwave Game Boy. I definitely prefer Street Fighter on the Sega Genesis because it's packaged more like the arcade. But that said, I don't mind in any way, shape, or form the Street Fighter on Super either, so it's all good in the hood. I would like to get the Super Famicom Mini. You know what games were difficult? Super Star Wars. Yeah, that game was really bad. I remember going to my friend's house in Saratoga. Not my friend, my cousin's house in Saratoga. I mean, my cousin is my friend, but... so my cousins lived in Saratoga. And they had a Super Nintendo. And a Nintendo. That's what they had. They didn't have a Sega. They had an NES and a Super. And so, definitely... They were all, in college and just kind of popping in and out of the house. And I was in, 8th grade. So I was like, oh, yeah, no, you can play with our video games. It's like, oh, awesome, man. So... One of the games they had was Super Star Wars, and it was hard, man. I mean, it was I just kind of played it because it's one of the few games they had, and I wasn't really a fan of it. I like Star Wars, but I'm not a Star Wars fanatic. I actually if someone's Star Wars or Star Trek: The Next Generation, I would choose Star Trek: The Next Generation. But that said, I mean, Star Wars is super good, man. I love Star Wars. But yeah, I was never any good at the Super Nintendo Star Wars games. I was actually hoping they'd do something where Luke Skywalker was Kylo Ren, and the kids would have to bring him back to the light side, to the good side of the Force, but... I don't know. I guess they made him some crazy hobo and killed him off in the second movie. So it's yeah, okay. Good to see you. Yes, Arrow, it is good to see you as well. We are playing some Super Nintendo Mini. We just struggled through the first 2 levels. Well, actually, no, we did fine in the first level, and then we did a really bad job in the second level of Donkey Kong Country. And now we're playing something I'm a little bit better at, Street Fighter, on the Super Nintendo. And we're just chatting about all the stuff that goes with that. This is playing through HDMI to S-Video on the Commodore 64 1084S monitor. This computer monitor, you can't completely tell through the camera, but the picture on it is stunning and brave. It is... It is some good freaking stuff, man. That was not well timed at all. But yeah, no, the picture on this monitor is ridiculous. It's like a high definition TV. And this is all technology from 1987. In fact, so I don't know if Tony Romano or I shouldn't use your last name, Tony. I mean Tony Eustace Romano. That'll throw people off. Or Nick Darling. No, actually, Tony, your name is fully stated there, so I guess it's fine. Yeah, they're hard as AF. Yes. Anyway, Scott Rude. I don't know if you guys remember him. He went to CCA. Good friend of mine, still a really good friend of mine, and I helped him move and I saw this monitor when we were moving, and the second I saw a computer monitor with RCA jacks in the back, I was like, are you going to keep that monitor? And he's like, no. And I was like, can I have it? And he's like, sure. And to this day, this monitor is a freaking beast, man. TVs come and go, but this monitor is producing top quality visuals. It is a test. This monitor can also do RGB, but it's very hard to get it to do RGB. So, you know, there's that. Scotty, good dude. Yes, he is. He's a good dude. In fact, he just got married. I sadly couldn't make his wedding. And actually, not many people could make his wedding. You know, like, I was fortunate enough. He said, hey, can you come to the wedding? And we can get a couple people. And I was like, dude, I can't. It's like, you know, it was very short notice because it was, you know, like, with the current health situation, so you kind of, like, hit and split, you know, as far as your public ceremonies go. Yeah, his wife seems super cool. We're all friends on Facebook. And he seems to be doing really, really, really well. So I'm glad he's doing well. He's found a really nice lady, it seems. And I have a really nice monitor and a nice lady. But only the monitor has anything to do with Scott. I got my wife of my own merits. So I owe Scott a monitor. If I ever... I mean, like, he's not getting any of my monitors, but if I ever come into fortune to the point where I can provide him with a retro monitor, I will do my damnedest to do so. Also, I'm going to do my damnedest to electrocute this car here. And then reconnect with my estranged mother who gave me anklets for my birthday before I was abandoned in the harsh jungles of Brazil. Perfect. So... You guys remember in, like, the weird Jean-Claude Van Damme Street Fighter movie, they tried to merge Charlie and Blanca into a single character, and he was Carlos Blanca? And Dalsim was, like, some guilt-ridden scientist who helped the evil country of Shadowloo to make Carlos Blanca into the monster he became. Like, I don't hate that movie. It's just, it needs to be taken as an alternate adventure, alternate dimension thing, because, it in no way, shape, or form has much to do with this video game. The casting was very hit and miss. Guile, Jean-Claude Van Damme is Guile. I mean, you know, he made it his own, you know, so that's cool. Like, I mean, if they ever do Guile cast as anything live action, they need to get Jean-Claude Van Damme for that, just because of the history with the character. Guile, I don't know if I see Jean-Claude Van Damme playing that, if you're just asking me to cast it off the top of my head. I would have probably cast Jean-Claude Van Damme as Ken. And then, I don't know, like some good Japanese martial artist actor as Ryu, or you know, damn it, I always jump into that flash kick. I always think to myself, I'll beat him to it. And, I don't. You guys ever see the Guile's theme goes with anything videos? And then well, actually, you know what we're gonna do after this? We're gonna, like, get on the Trinitron TV, which has YouTube connected to it, and look up Guile's theme goes with everything and Worf from Star Trek, because they're like some of the greatest things ever. What do you guys, I don't know what you guys think of FMV games. I'm a big fan of them. I have a Sega CDX right next to me, so I'm a big fan of FMV games. And you can ask my friends. Like, this is not me lying about this. I have the Power Rangers FMV game. I have Strawl. Those are the two those are the ones I love. Strawl on the 3DO. I have Road Blaster, which I'm not good at, but really love the opening too. What you gonna do? Come on, man. Anyway, there's a new FMV game that's coming out called Gamer Girl, where it's being called the Simulator. And Karada. Ooh, yeah, dude, man, Yasuaki Karada. Yeah, Yasuaki Karada is Ryu and Jean-Claude Van Damme is Ken. That would be, holy crap, that movie, that really is some freaking quality casting right there. That would have been really, really good. Karada is Ryu and Van Damme is Ken. And you would have had blood sport and blood fight in one movie, too. So that would have, I mean, that really, if I'm casting a Street Fighter movie, that's what I would do. I would definitely keep Kylie Minogue as Cammy. I thought she was really good as Cammy. And I'm a big fan of Kylie Minogue. I freaking love her 80s music. Like I Should Be So Lucky and Gotta Be Certain and all that stuff. So I'm a big Kylie Minogue fan, so I thought she did a really good job as Cammy. I heard her and Van Damme hooked up during the movie. So good for Jean-Claude. I mean, not if he was married, then I mean that's adultery. That's not good. But if he's single and he hooked up with Kylie Minogue, more power to you, man. Good, live the dream. I mean, you know, as a Sunday school teacher, I feel compelled to say that that should lead to a loving monogamous relationship. But you know, whatever. Anyway, what am I saying here? Yeah, there's a FMV game called Gamer Girl that's like apparently coming out where you are a moderator on a like Pokemon-esque character's Twitch stream. And I think it's got some like mystery elements to it, so it could be good or it could just be really stupid. That one dating game that I thought looked kind of interesting because it was full motion video on the Switch. I played a little bit with it, not very much. Yeah, that would be freaking epic. Your job is to teach... Hang on a second, let me read what Arrow is saying here. Wait, is your job as a Sunday school to teach Sunday school teacher or something you do over the summer? Or is that something that you just happen to take? Okay, so this is the deal. I am a 7th grade social studies teacher at a public school. And then I go to a church where I am a Sunday school teacher for 9th and 10th graders. And I actually really like teaching that age range. And I also like the fact that the kids they're there because they pretty much want to be there. You know, my Sunday school classes are pretty small, which you might think is a little sad, but the kids that want to be there actually want to be there, you know, and like that's what I like. So, Guile's theme is the best in Street Fighter. That is hard to argue. So let's get back to it. But yeah, so that's the kind of teaching I do. I do Sunday school teaching when there is Sunday school. And actually, when I teach Sunday school, it kind of goes. I do like different things. Like I'll talk about theology and philosophy, and then I'll kind of shift gears and show this '80s sitcom called Second Chance, starring Matthew Perry, where St. Peter basically guides this guy who died in 2011 back to 1987 to advise his younger self. To avoid making mistakes, because the whole premise of the show is the guy isn't good enough for heaven or hell. So he basically has to try to advise his younger self to make better life choices so he can tip the scales in a more positive favor. And so basically the future version of Matthew Perry, you know, lives in this spare apartment in Matthew Perry's house and, you know, tries to advise his younger self to avoid some of the mistakes he made in the past. And it's actually a really good show, and it was one of Fox's first sitcoms. It was low rated, and they retooled the show to get rid of the, like, more supernatural, spiritual elements to it, and they turned it into a show called Boys Will Be Boys that had it was just, like, Matthew Perry and his guy friends. Like, they were just trying to do, like, you know, I don't know, like, young college, older high school hijinks type stuff, and it was not as entertaining or fun or anything like that. So Second Chance and Boys Will Be Boys had about 30 episodes in 1987, but I think Second Chance only had about damn it, I barely lost. Second Chance, I think, had like 14 episodes, I want to say, and a chunk of them are on YouTube, and I actually show a lot of the I show pretty much any of the episodes. There's one Second Chance episode I don't show that's on YouTube, because back in the 80s, I think it was like, I mean, whatever, man, like back in the 80s it was less taboo for there to be, like, I think it was because of The Graduate, younger, older relationships that may be illegal. And there is one episode where, like, Matthew Perry's character is getting seduced by this woman, like, in her 40s, and it's, like, it's kind of unclear if he's of age, you know? So I don't show that episode in Sunday school, even though it has kind of a moral ending, because, I mean, I'm Catholic, and I just don't even want to go there, considering all the nonsense the Catholic Church has, you know, gotten involved in through stupid decisions of people. So, yeah, but anyway, Second Chance is a freaking phenomenal show. It's got a really catchy tune. It was a really early vehicle for Matthew Perry, and I liked the show so much. And the kids that I Sunday school teach really like it as well. And it's like this, the episodes that I show are like ripped right off of 80s VHS tapes, so they look freaking great. I mean, if you like the 80s. And like some of it's got like diarrhea commercials too, like Pepto-Bismol, like, honey, are you ready for our date? It's like, ugh, I'm in the bathroom again. Diarrhea. Mm-hmm. Well, take Pepto-Bismol. He'll be drinking Coke 2 in no time. Anyway, what am I even saying? Second Chance is a good show. Oh, yeah. I have the cast photos. I tracked them down and ordered them and have them framed. My wife is like, what are you doing? Why are you ordering these? I'm like, listen, I love that show. I actually have videos about that show and those cast photos on the YouTube channel. So look for them. I believe they're in the pop culture and politics subsection of the channel. I believe that's what it is. What is it? Mass Culture and Politics? Is that the name of that playlist? Yeah, so check that out. Perfect. You win. Perfect. Yeah, so Second Chance is great. It's got a really catchy opening, too. So if I had a second chance. I think the problem is that, you know, in the late 80s, people were less appreciative of... I think people were... Let me put it this way. The trend, I think, in the late 80s was like, we gotta be more real. You know, all this Reagan stuff. Like, we're like, it's too over the top, man. We gotta be real. And like stuff was like, you know, like the nostalgia was like, I think, pivoting more to the 60s and this kind of like bullshit, like Frankfurt School's not bullshit, but like the 1960s philosopher that was like, you know, obsessed with authenticity and the fact that, you know, the Reagan administration was so over the top and ultra capitalist in 1950s 2.0. You know, the nostalgia for the 50s had shifted to the nostalgia for the 60s. So there was all this romanticism of, you know, being fixated with authenticity and reality and keeping it real and all this stuff. And that really came into fruition in the early 90s with Nirvana. But it was already starting in the late 80s. So Second Chance, I think, was a victim of that. They were on a very small network. Fox was just starting out. And it was really critically panned because all the critics thought that they were too good for this, these morals and escapism. And I mean, you really got a lot of that, like Bloodsport, as we all know. And that is my absolute favorite movie of all time, and I will defend that movie up and down. You know, that was like critically panned badly, and I was like, you know, nobody gives it. Like, I'm gonna swear a little bit. Nobody gives a shit what critics think, okay? I mean, this is what's good about critics, okay? Analysis. I mean, is their analysis interesting or not? but as far as their opinions go, I could care less, because so much of what I like, critics consider terrible, and I have good reasons for what I like. And I mean, and we can like disagree on stuff, like that's not a problem, but I mean, that's all it is. I mean, like we can disagree on something. The fact that you're a critic doesn't mean that you are correct. And I think, too often critics think that they're the arbiters of culture, and that's not the case. Because Bloodsport's awesome. That movie is like wildly popular still, and it's 2020, and whatever like darling that they were raving about, like nobody gives a shit about anymore. Like 30 something or whatever late 80s show they were raving about because it dealt with like yuppie angst or something. But yeah, Bloodsport's awesome because it has an interesting story, high ideals, good choreography, good music, and it is both escapist and I think of philosophical quality too, right? As a Sunday school teacher, one of the ways that I explain the Trinity is it's like mind, body, and spirit together. You know where I got that from? Bloodsport, okay? Because that's what Tanaka tells Frank Dukes. You have to bring mind, body, and spirit together, okay? So, there you go. Bloodsport is both culturally and theologically significant, and has one of the best soundtracks ever. And Second Chance was a good sitcom. And, I can just, I remember, this episode of Growing Pains that Matthew Perry was on, and, he died in a car accident, and they were, patting themselves on the back, because, oh, this is real, he died in a car accident, and it's true, doing an episode, doing a quote-unquote very special episode about how it's, drinking and driving is bad, is yeah, no, I get it. Drinking and driving is bad. Thanks for ruining my good time, though, by the way, because I was, tuning in to enjoy myself, not to see something about a character getting run over by a car or getting hit by a car or whatever. But anyway, the episode of that was Second Chance, and I think the writers were, referencing Matthew Perry's failed sitcom, just to themselves, and I'm sure they were saying to themselves, I have no idea if this is true or not, but, oh, this is so much better than Second Chance. No, it's not. It's worse. It's much worse, the banter that St. Peter would have with the first version of, the older version of Matthew Perry was it was very funny. It was he was, I appreciate this as an Italian because there's all these jokes about St. Peter and Jesus is, the straight man, and St. Peter is just, this, mischievous goofball. And it was kind of like that in that sitcom, which was I could appreciate, and the interaction with the younger and older self was also really fun. So yeah, now Second Chance is one of my favorite sitcoms. There's only a handful of episodes to it. I'm never going to be able to study theology the same way again. Oh, you haven't heard my Trinity analogy with component cables or composite cables, have you? We'll definitely... Okay, so here it is. Okay, so let's do... We'll do component cables, because that's got 3 elements of one color. Or you could do composite cables, because it's still 3 things. It's video and then 2 forms of sound. Anyway, so let's do composite video, because it's more well known. Okay, so I explained the Trinity it's 3 components of one whole. Okay, now if you hook up a PlayStation through composite video, you have 3 components plugged in to make one single experience, one single entity, one single game, okay? If you pull one of those things out, it's not the same whole, okay? Those 3 components work together to make the whole, okay? So that's how I explain the Trinity to my kids. It's Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are 3 components of God. Okay, so when people say well, how is God 3 in 1? It's your religion doesn't make any sense. It's stupid, and it's not. First of all, the idea that a human being can 100% explain God is, that in and of itself is impossible because God's above us. We're like ants, and He's like a person. You need to swear more, Noel. Go to hell, Diego. Just kidding. Anyway, yeah, but if you pull one of those things out, it's not the same whole, right? It's not the same product. It's not the same experience, right? If you say you do the same thing with composite video with the RGB, the red, blue, and green, right? If you pull one of those cables out, a component of the picture is missing, but when you put all three of those together, it's the whole picture. So that's how I explain the Trinity using 80s and 90s video technology. Can you read Russian? I could read Cyrillic phonetically, and I did take a semester of Russian language in school and at SUNY Binghamton because I minored in Soviet history and was thinking about having that be my major, but I just didn't have enough Russian language for it. And so I didn't have enough language to do the primary sources. I really loved Russian history though. It was my favorite kind of history to study. When I was bored, I would just go into the library I would just hang around I would hang around the Soviet history section. It was one of my places that I went to go relax. I would go to the library, 4th floor, study. I'd get something from the cafe, like some tomato and mozzarella sandwich and some overpriced like chai tea or something. I'd sit there with a stack of books that I had to, study from. And whenever I would be like, I need to take a break, my break would be I would go wander over to the Soviet history section and just look at the books and take the books out. And once I left Binghamton, after a year, once I basically graduated, I did my master's in education and all my PhD courses and stuff. I had to return those library books. And I had to send boxes of books back to Binghamton because I had so many books and I had done so much grad school. And a lot of them were Soviet history books. And I ordered a lot of them through, Amazon or whatever. But Soviet history was fun. The problem with Soviet history, and the problem with all history, is that the trend in history is that a lot of academics are nihilists. And I mean that in the sense that they're concerned with power, okay? And whose power are they concerned with? The people they like, the people they identify with, right? If you can find the people that you agree with in the past using their will to power to affect change over time by challenging, the race, class, and gender power hierarchy of white male capitalists, then you have a career, okay? That's all you need to do to be historically relevant. The thing with Soviet history was I just found it interesting because of the high ideals and then the terroristic misery that happened, and I loved the idea of the Marxist experiment and things like that. So that's why I love Soviet history. But a lot of what I studied was people kind of going into business for themselves in Stalinist Russia, and not to make money, just I'm going to point the finger at you, or I'm going to interpret something in a different way, or I'm going to play with the ideas of the Soviet government for my own benefit. And if it fit the criteria of it's the people I like using their will to power, therefore it's good. To me, history is important because it's how people grapple with and find truth. But for the people that are the historians, quote unquote, they don't believe in truth. The truth is their field, right? That's what they care about. The truth is their academic tribe and what it likes. And I had a hard time fitting into that. And then I didn't realize how to play the game. To play the game, what you had to do is you had to insert yourself into a section of a bookshelf. To have an original idea or say I think we should, I want to write about this, we should study this kind of thing. If there's not a place on a bookshelf for you to fit into for that, number one, that's going to be difficult to do because you're not going to have other work to reference. And then the other thing too is the professors, a lot of those professors get there just by playing the game themselves, right? They're not really interested in helping you unless it helps themselves. And they also just don't know how to advise you either if you're into something that they're not into or don't understand. So, that was always my problem studying history at the doctoral level. And I still want to finish my PhD. I just don't know, how I'm going to do it with the time that I have. But that is something that I have to finish because I didn't spend years of my life doing all the coursework for a doctorate, standing out in positive ways in seminar classes, writing a shit ton of stuff just to, I don't know, have my advisor ditch me. So I'm still a little, I don't have a chip on my shoulder is the right word, but I still feel kind of like I've got unfinished business. But at the same time, it's I see how unhinged academics and liberals on colleges have become, and I saw it when I was there, and now it's just I drift more toward being conservative because of just how, ridiculous the so-called left has become. And I don't know. I don't really want to deal with a lot of adult babies. So, I don't know. Okay, hang on a second. Let me read the comments here. Ooh. Okay, hang on a second. I'm going to pick Blanca and then pause this here. Hold on. Vega, who was known as Balrog in Japan. Okay, let's take a look at the comments here. I would read a lot of books, both about Nazi Germany and the Holocaust in high school. I had a really, really, really good European history professor at Cortland State. His name was Sandy Gutman, and he did a lot of Jewish history and French history. He was Jewish himself and did a lot of the history for the local synagogue that I was privileged enough to actually do some history research at. And he was a great mentor and friend. But he didn't really know how to help me when I was having my problems because he just did history in the way that normal historians do it, which tended to agree with a lot of the historians of Binghamton, But anyway, he was a great guy and a good friend, and I read a lot of books about the Holocaust under him. And it's a horrible, horrible, horrible event in history, but at the same time, learning about how people interacted with that event from all angles of the event is, again, I find interesting. Random thought, was Mike Catalano there when you were attending BU? He was not. I was there before Mike. I'm friends with Mike. Mike's dad goes to my church. Mike studies poli-sci, and I had talked to Mike actually quite a bit about BU, and I know he's in the doctoral program there for poli-sci. And it's funny because he's a huge Civil War buff and huge apologist for the James McPherson, Eric Foner School of Civil War History, where, Abraham Lincoln's a saint and, Thaddeus Stevens and the Reconstruction people were God's gift to African Americans, which I don't agree with. But he does, and I respect his opinion, even though I disagree with it. So we'll have little Civil War debates here and there. But his whole thing is he feels like the Republican Party did good things for black people and therefore they're heroic. And my whole thing is the Republican Party did do good things for black people, but at the same time they did those good things because, rationally, not many other people in the South were going to support them except for the African Americans. So there's that. It's not like they were just these wonderful people. It's when you do a war of occupation, you pick up the people that are going to support you and you give them the power. The other thing about the Republicans is that the Republican Party has always been idealistic and imperialistic, and that's fine. It's not per se a bad thing, but Lincoln was terrible as far as his Native American policy goes. He encouraged massive westward expansion that really disrupted and destroyed a lot of Native American culture. And, he basically took whatever position was convenient for him. He was racist. He was all over the place on racial issues. So, I don't know. I think Lincoln's been unnecessarily deified, and I think that Reconstruction in the South was ham-fisted and led to the growth of domestic terrorism in the South, that trickled over into, Jim Crow and all these other kind of things when you had like terrorist groups like the Ku Klux Klan. So lack of empathy on the part of the radical Republicans led to a lot of problems. But there's a lot of crazy white Southern resentment that, made it so that, that fueled what the radical Republicans were doing. So it's not like the people in the South were any better. My whole thing is like the Civil War and Reconstruction were just a shit show. And we should have resolved slavery without that bloodbath. But anyway, Republican Party history is bad in many parts. Yeah, it is. But, you have these historians that just fall in love with what they study. Like, it's like there's some of these people, the way that they write about the people that they study. It's like I imagine they have like pictures of them hanging over their bed, like topless or something. So imagine that, Abraham Lincoln topless with his male breasts and beard and top. Back to Street Fighter. Okay. No, but I mean, I really like Mike Catalano though, and I like his family. I'm friends with all of his family, and his dad is a great parishioner at St. Anthony's. And Mike and I actually used to hang out quite a bit because we had a mutual friend by the name of Dave Marks, who was like never had any money, and then he graduated from Buffalo, SUNY Buffalo, as an engineer, and now he's got more money than anyone. So he was like this, socialist DJ, snarky atheist, and he ended up, but he was like very, very, very nice. Like we had a lot in common. We used to be like, we'd always like go to Tim Hortons and talk about just like The Simpsons and philosophy and stuff. And we were like two old men whose friendship revolved around like arguing with each other. And anyway, Dave was really good at math and I was horrible at math. And I took a math course at Binghamton for history. It was called Quantitative Methods, because I ended up doing U.S. history, because I wasn't fluent in any other languages other than English. I do speak some Italian, but anyway. I did quantitative methods, and Dave would just stay up very late at night, and we'd talk on either AIM. I don't know. We didn't have AIM. We had Facebook Messenger, and he would just give me advice on a lot of things as far as my work. And I got a B+ in that class, and he was part of that. So he's really a good guy when push came to shove. And he ended up he's now living with this evangelical Christian girl and helping to raise her son, and that's like his long-term girlfriend's wife. Or they're not married, but they're like close to it. So he's doing really well for himself. But anyway, Mike and I ended up being friends with Mike through Dave. Sagat, his long legs make him susceptible to sweeps. Sagat is a bitch in the first Street Fighter. There we go. Mike just came to mind because I thought the same association there for some reason. I remember his family associated with St. Anthony's. Yes, Lincoln. Yeah, Lincoln, I mean, I don't know. Like, he's not the devil and he's not God. He's just like it. He's an ambitious politician who, at a time when there was a whole host of positions he can take, he took some good ones and took some bad ones, and there's that. Yeah. So that's my take on Lincoln. I think you can actually draw some parallels between Trump and Lincoln, which will set people the hell off. But I mean, it's true. The press hates both of them. They rule over, and they are presidential figures that are vehicles for division. They're both all over the place on a whole host of issues. They're both, how do I put this? Sometimes they come off as racist, and sometimes they don't come off as racist. Kanye West is Trump's Frederick Douglass. That should tell you how far we've fallen as a society. But it's true.
You know, yes, I don't know. And again, I think that the Republican Party's actually had quite a bit of continuity. You know, they've always been pro-business. They're idealistic and imperialistic, except, and not to again be like controversial here, but for me, the abolition issue has turned into the abortion issue. And you know, and again, it's like Republicans can be all over kind of all over the place on it. Like, how radical are you on that issue? The same way, like, how radical are you on the issue of abolition? But that's their idealistic issue, and they have ideals and interests to support it. So, you know, I don't know. So I think the Republicans are actually, people always say like, oh, the Republican Party changed so much. It's like, I think there's more continuity than change, personally. I mean, I know that with Lincoln, they adopted the Southern strategy and, you know, tried to appeal to the alienated Southern voters, and did. And so now the Republican Party is more popular in the South by far. But still, I think there's a lot of continuity with the Republican Party. And, you know, Lincoln definitely has more meritocracy than Trump in terms of his life story. But still, you know. Mommy, Jimmy. We beat Street Fighter. My name is Triple A. This has been a kind of a controversial stream here. I've just been ranting about politics and history. Good stuff. Alright, there's Street Fighter 2. Let's see what else we got on the Super Nintendo Mini. I'm gonna take drink more JoJo coffee here. You want to see me struggle at Mario Kart? Because I'm not good at it. But we can play. Ooh, Secret of Mana. That's a good freaking game. The Final Fantasy 3, Nick. Here you go. This is Final Fantasy 6. Super Metroid, Contra. Mario RPG looks beautiful on this TV. This is the last Squaresoft Nintendo joint project for a long time, until the GameCube, because once Square backed Sony, they and Nintendo had beef, man. Super Castlevania, I love that game. Where's Mario Kart? There it is. Alright, we're going to be Donkey Kong Jr. because he's very cute and I like him. Go for the Mushroom Cup. You should play Hong Kong 90s. I don't have Hong Kong 97. That would be a good game to get a copy of. Try to get the floppy disk. I am actually a really big fan of the ultra healthy video game nerd who just interviewed Cooler and Kurosawa. And I actually follow Cooler and Kurosawa on YouTube. And I actually got a heart comment from one of the things I posted on his channel, which is a big honor. So, I mean, I didn't say anything of substance. I was just like, Kurosawa-sama, I saw your interview. I'm really grateful to find your channel, and I was very complimentary of him. He is a eccentric dude who, I don't know, man. He definitely seeks out the path less traveled. Yeah, I don't know. The Hong Kong 97 floppy disk. I have not seen the Angry Video Game Nerd video about that. I've just seen a lot of the ultra healthy video game nerd, the guy who actually owns a legit copy of Hong Kong 97, and he said that he wants to sell that. And I told him, like, I posted on that post, of like, do not sell that, man. Son of a bitch. I was like in third place, and then freaking King Koopa Hit me with something. Like, Terry Diebold selling the Nintendo PlayStation. Like, dude, do not freaking sell this shit. Like, I mean, I guess if people just need the money or want the money or just really... I mean, Hong Kong 97 is not a good game, so... I was under the assumption all of your classic consoles were modded, lol. Most of them are. So let's see. My Saturn is modded to play anything. My Genesis, I just use Game Genie to play games from Japan. My N64 is modded for RGB. My PlayStation 1 and 2 are both modded to play anything. My Super Nintendo is modded, my SNES Junior, just by having the little clips inside of it popped off, you know, so a Super Famicom cartridge can fit into it. My Famicom is modded for AV, for audio video, because the Famicom originally could only do RF until you got the AV Famicom, which looked like our Model 2 NES. I have a Model 2 NES that's a top loader because I have some visual novels that don't play right on the Famicom because they've got too much, the pin transfer doesn't work, and they're custom made from Etsy onto NES cartridges, because the guy that makes these visual novel cartridges just uses NES cartridges. So, like, the Dreadful Biomonster Jesus and Metal Slater Glory did not play right on my Famicom, so I got top loader NES, and that seems to have done the trick for the most part, although Biomonster Jesus, I think, still kind of plays a little wonky on it. The text gets all scrambled and it becomes unplayable. So my top loader is not modded. My NES top loader is not modded. My Neo Geo is modded. Not that it's got cheat devices like built into it, so you can like mess with the dip switches on each game. And it also is made for audio, like AV and S video out. So there's that. I get my hands on various floppy disk backup loaders for all sorts of retro consoles alongside. Ooh! The only floppy disk thing I have is a disk system for the Famicom that sadly isn't working right now. And it really bugs me because I have Biomiracle Bukute Upa and the original Mario 2 on it, and I can't play them because the rubber band on it is broken, and I can't find anyone to fix it, and I don't know how to fix it. So I'm really pissed off because the Famicom and the Famicom disk system, I think, are some of the most beautiful. Like, I just love the way that those systems look, and I love the yellow floppy disks on the Famicom disk system. So, yeah. I know that EverDrive is a thing, but I have a large amount of appreciation for the unofficial bootleg scene. Yeah, I agree. Especially in its early years. Yeah, and Hong Kong 97. That's all about that, man. Kurosawa has a channel. So if you type in Kulun Kurosawa, he's got a channel. And it had, like, no subs. And then he did that interview with Ultra Healthy Video Game Nerd. And from that, he's gotten, he's now up to, like, 500, Which is kind of crazy. Like, I have more subs than the guy that made Hong Kong 97. But, like, I don't know, with my channel, like, I keep getting stuck at, like, between 774 and 772. And I don't know if, like, people just, like, lose interest or if YouTube... I've heard YouTube is, like, take some subs off of people's channels, too. But I don't know if people just, like, lose interest and unsubscribe and then, like, resubscribe. But I'm stuck at, like, 774 to 772. And it fluctuates between those two things. And I really would like to get to 800, I really would like to get to 1,000, but I definitely want to I'm so close to 800, And once we do that, then we can review Final Fantasy VIII. It's my thing. I always want to review a Final Fantasy each time I get a milestone. My nose is itching right now, but I can't take my hand off the controller, or we'll all crash. crap. That's not good. Get me out of the water. I was trying to, like, use my freaking bomb there, and I messed up. Super NES is flexing its muscle with all that screen rotation that it could do. Super Nintendo, like, visually is a very strong console. I don't care what anyone says, though. More often than not, the Genesis games played more smoothly. So I think Genesis games, like, that whole blast processing stuff, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that just meant that most Genesis games played faster. I know that Super Nintendo, you know, definitely had more going on in terms of its colors. And its RPGs were freaking insane, and I know that it was wildly, wildly popular in Japan, which is my favorite video game scene. But, you know, the Sega Genesis really, I think it was a quality console that, in a lot of cases, was better than the Super Nintendo. But they each had their own merits. When it comes to JRPGs, Super Nintendo is a freaking monster, man, and I love the whole, like, Super Nintendo aesthetic too, like the whole, like, this is a cool Japanese game, you know. Speaking of cool Japanese games, here's Mega Man X. It's why I like stuff like anime fan subs and VHS. Early internet digital subs are also appealing for me. Yes, I agree. Well, I love that Dragon Ball fan sub you sent me, so that's really good. I can't find my capture card. Like my USB capture device thing. Freaking Santino, who I love more than anything, runs around with all my, like, if it's loose and he can plug it in somewhere, he runs around with it. It's probably in his freaking toy chest. I thought the opening to Mega Man X was always interesting. Dr. Light's like, I can't be sure if this guy's gonna go insane or not, so I'm putting him on ice. Sadly, I won't live for the 30 years needed to see how he turns out. I fear that no force on Earth can stop him. Approximately 30 years will be required before I can safely confirm his reliability. Unfortunately, I will not live to see that day, nor do I have anyone to carry on my work. Therefore, I have decided to seal him in the capsule, which will test his internal systems until his reliability has been confirmed. Please do not disturb the capsule until that time. X possesses great risks as well as great possibilities. I can only hope for the best. September 18th, 20XX. Thaddeus Light. Because we all know that's what the T stands for. So 0 was supposed to be X. But, you know, they decided to make 0, 0 and have X look like Mega Man. I've sadly never beaten a Mega Man game. I love Mega Man, though. Ooh. This game, I mean, Super Famicom, they really did a bang-up job with, you know, these really vivid chibi graphics, 2D chibi graphics here. I mean, if you get to a game like Extra Innings, like, I mean, they're freaking producing anime cutscenes. The Nintendo PlayStation, you know, as a Sega CD style add-on for the for the Nintendo. I mean, that would have been really good. Like, I remember like seeing Ben Heck saying like, "Oh, well, this might not have even been that good. It just would have been a Super Nintendo with a CD drive." It's like, yeah, that's what those things were. But take a look at how good the Super Nintendo could be graphically, and then with, you know, the bells and whistles that Sony could add to a CD add-on. Like, really, I don't know, man. That would have been some good stuff. I mean, it would have been the Super Nintendo's disc system, basically. You need to play Mega Man X3 ASAP. It's the best Mega Man X game ever. Interesting. What are you guys saying here? Unfortunately, I can't find any more tapes of similar content. Yeah, it sucks. It seems like either they're stored in people's basements somewhere, or worst case scenario, they're entirely lost to history. I've got a bunch of tapes, but like I can't... Like, they're all Raw International channel, and I want to upload them and share them. Rogue Drums, how you doing? We're playing some Super Nintendo Mini, and we're playing some Mega Man X right now. We beat Street Fighter 2 Turbo. We played some Donkey Kong Country, beat the first level, failed at the second level. Played some Mario Kart, got 4th in a race, got 6th in a race. Ranted about history and politics, talking about various things. Watched some cool Japanese commercials from the 80s. So that's what you've missed thus far, but the important thing is you're here now. YouTube's probably the worst place for uploading anything with copyright. Dude, I know! I'm just not on any other platform, though. Like, as far as, like, video stuff goes. I mean, I guess I can get on, like, Daily Motion or something like that, you know. You know, these freaking, like, big websites, though, they're gonna screw themselves because they, you know, they're gonna drive people to smaller sites, and it's like, I like YouTube. YouTube's the... I mean, I've worked hard at building my YouTube up. It's like the most accessible place you can go to find stuff. You know, they've got an... You know, nice app on the phone. And it's like, dude, like... You know, one of my most popular... You know, like, I've got videos that have, like, you know, like 20K, 100K stuff. Like, actually, my biggest video is, like, my X-Men artwork and the ambiance theme to the Japanese X-Men. But I mean, I've got other stuff, and it's just like, you know, this obscure... God damn it. This obscure, like, 80s Japanese and 90s Japanese stuff, you know, it's like... I mean, I'm not even interested in getting monetized, you know. I just want to share the stuff and make a name for myself. Like, I don't want this to be work. I mean, if I can get extra money doing it, like, whatever, but... You know, I watch people like the quartering or things like that. It's like they're always talking about monetization. And it's like, you know, like, I don't want this... I want this to be, like, something fun, not something that I'm, like, worried about. Like, oh, no, you know, I'm gonna get defunded or deplatformed or whatever. It's just like... I mean, I want YouTube to be fun, you know? And I mean, like, my streaming ability on YouTube is good, man. This Prism app, I mean, it sucks that they made it so that you have to have 1,000 subs to stream, but the workaround is actually better because, you know, I can easily just do stuff through Prism. And I like how Prism looks, too, with the comments on the screen and all that good stuff. I need HP. Even sites like that can't have you upload full episodes of various copyright material. I really want to re-upload Ninja Cadets. Like those Japanese action explosion things. Like, I want to share that stuff. I want people to be able to see, like, old commercials and things like that. Because that kind of stuff is going to get lost if people can't share it easily online. You worthless piece of scrap metal, did you think you could defeat me? Yeah, I thought I'd give it a shot. Help me, Zero. Zero is very, very cool. I guess I'm not powerful enough to defeat him. You shouldn't expect to defeat him. He's designed to be a war machine. Remember, you have not reached full power yet. If you use all the abilities you were designed with, you should become stronger. You may even become as powerful as I am. I'll scout ahead and collect as much information on Sigma's fortress as I can. I'll meet up with you when you get there. See you later. X, I know you can do it. So there's our password there. Let's do this nifty ice level here. After that, I'm going to show you guys Tales of Fantasia. I just got a really nice Tales of Fantasia cartridge. I have Tales of Fantasia on the Game Boy Advance. Tales of Fantasia was never released in English on the Super Nintendo Super Famicom. But I have a really, really pretty disc that I got a really pretty cartridge that I got off of Etsy. It's a yellow Super Nintendo cartridge. It's the Japanese Tales of Fantasia with English dialogue, English text, from the 2001 translation of DJAP. And it's great. I beat this game, back in like 2003, 2004. Just through ROMs on my old Dell PC. Now I finally have a cartridge for it. Tales of Fantasia, great Super Famicom game that actually had a vocal J-pop opening. And the fact that they were able to get that on a cartridge for a 16-bit system is damn impressive. So again, look at a game like Tales of Fantasia, you really think, like, what the hell could the Nintendo PlayStation have done? Adding, CD-ROM power to what the, Super Famicom could already do, which was, substantial. Darn it. Why must you be so difficult? There we go. Ah, come on. Alright, I'm not doing well at Mega Man X, though I love it dearly. Alright, let's take a brief pause here from our Super Nintendo Mini. I'm gonna hit the lights, hold on. They're showing like ramen noodle commercials on the TV, which is nice. So, what should we do? Let's take a little bit of a field trip. We'll get some coffee. We'll see if there's anything good in the kitchen. Not that I need to be snacking, but I am a bit. I like to keep myself going here. Let me show you guys something cool though. Hold on. So this right here is my custom-made Tales of Fantasia. My Tales of Fantasia cartridge here. It is yellow. Fancy Video Games is the store that I got this on. I also have a pink Star Ocean cartridge. And I actually just ordered a clear blue Tenchi Muyo strategy RPG cartridge from this place. So I'm super psyched to get that. They do really, really nice work. I have beyond zero issue with repros. If it's a nice repro, I'm all for it. I'm all for, keeping these games preserved, for giving people the experience of playing them, for giving the games fresh cartridges that aren't filled with, dirt and muck from decades, and you pop them in your system and they're, it ruins your system. That said, I'm not saying that repros are better or worse or anything than the original cartridges. They're both good in their own ways. This is, they make no, cloak that this is a repro. It says for play on the SNES. Obviously, Tales of Fantasia didn't come out on a cartridge that looked like this, but I thought this is a cool cartridge. The yellow is reminiscent of the Famicom. So I thought this was really cool. It's a nice, heavy, substantial cartridge. Hold on. I'll show you guys my Star Ocean cartridge here. Hold on. Come on. There it is. So here's Star Ocean. Again, very pretty pink cartridge here. So that's very nice. Good stuff. And Nick, you had, if you're still here, you had brought up Final Fantasy. So these right here are my cartridges for the English versions of Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3. Now, I have these on the Famicom as well with their Famicom cartridges, but these have the English language text, and they also have, they're beautiful cartridges. They're white, just like the Famicom, but these are NES-style cartridges, so they're the long cartridges rather than the smaller cassette-style cartridges, but they still have the beautiful Yoshitaka Amano artwork. So these are very, very nice. So if you're into NES Final Fantasy, try to seek these cartridges out. Again, they're all, they all say on the bottom the unofficial Nintendo seal of quality, and that lets you know that this is a repro cartridge. So, if you are someone that is like collecting vintage cartridges, this lets you know that this is not a vintage cartridge, that this is more currently made. And so somebody charging you a lot of money for this as a vintage collectible is doing something dishonest. There are people like Pat the NES Punk who have, their podcasts and YouTube channels, and just they're very elitist and rail against repro carts. But, this stuff is not being sold again in these formats. Like, they're not making new NES games. So if someone decides to make a really good quality NES game of something that's not getting made anymore, I'm all for it. So let's watch this commercial again. Man, we gotta rewind that. I love that commercial.
For beautiful human life.
眉に初めてソフトなパープル。簡単で楽しいアイメイクです。目元カラフル。 する眉とシャドウやったーい秋のフィットネットアイ Enable for beautiful human life.
So I actually am fortunate enough to, again, I always talk about this guy's channel. He gives me the time of day, which is nice. Guy Jillionaire, really good YouTube channel. It's my favorite YouTube channel. The guy lives in Japan, and we chat here and there on Facebook Messenger. And he actually is nice enough to translate some Japanese for me. And so I'll find like songs and say like, hey, what song is this? And so I'm wondering if he can actually help me find what song is actually playing in that Kanebo commercial for Beautiful Human Life. All right, how do we want to do this here? Let's set up our phone with this bag of apples here. Hello. We're going to get some coffee. And we got our nice cup of JoJo mug here. 11:24. It's not that late, and I'm feeling vigorous right here. I'm drinking a lot more smoothies. I basically get fistfuls of vegetables and fruit and throw it in a blender with, if it's more vegetable heavy, I'll put it with V8. And if it's more fruit heavy, I'll put it in with almond milk. And it's how I get my 5 a day. So, you know. And I'm lucky enough to be able to live next to a gym where I can do my my boxing. So, good stuff. Actually, it's also probably not the wisest thing to do, but we'll also have some Pringles and take a brief gaming break here. See how everyone in the stream is doing. Hopefully, you're all doing well. It looks like I've cut my viewership in half. If that little ticker up in the top is accurate or not. So we've got 2 people watching while I eat chips. So that's good. I mean, like, seriously, what else are you going to watch? The news? I mean, come on. Seriously, it's like, you know what it is. They're going to sensationalize events and tell you the same thing for 24 hours. So you can watch that, or you can watch me eat, you know, lightly salted Pringles potato chips, have coffee in a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure mug, and then play Japanese video games from the 1990s. I mean, I think that the choice is obvious, that the Noel ComiX YouTube channel is where you should be spending your time and how you should be spending your time. All right, let's go play some more video games. So, there's a couple more chips here. Never watch the news, nothing but lies. You got that right. Yeah. Noam Chomsky's Manufacturing Consent. Masterful analysis of the media. Tommy Lasorda baseball. So I was talking about how I like drink smoothies. My wife is like, I'm gonna start calling you Tommy Lasorda. With your smoothie for breakfast, smoothie for lunch, and a sensible dinner. Although I'll get to the point where it's just like, you know, we've been having a lot of hot weather. So, you know, I'm definitely like, I'm getting lightheaded. I gotta have some solids. All right. What should we play? Let's play some Tales of Phantasia. We'll play some RPGs here. But yeah, the news is just, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's, I think, you know what my theory is on the news? Is that one of the reasons why the news seems to be becoming so unhinged is because the internet and alternative news sources of varying degrees of quality are challenging their monopoly on information.
People are canceling their cable subscription, so cable news is, is hurting. I mean, the cable in general is hurting, and that's going to affect news companies. So, in order to really, get viewers, I think they've become increasingly more sensationalistic, hysterical, and bitter because they're not getting their way. And these are people who are obsessed with power and used to getting their own way. And now that that's being challenged and their world is collapsing around them, they're becoming more vitriolic. So that's my take on that. I mean, the news, 24-hour news has been a terrible, terrible thing. Because quite frankly, it's about making money. And, it's just, they just drive the same crap into the ground day in, day out. And it's all so skewed toward, their masters making money, basically. They're advertisers and they're the people running the corporation. And plus, people who go to journalism school, like any kind of academic discipline is going to be very tribalistic, and you're going to get a lot of, group think and, people being insulated and not being able to think outside the box and all this other kind of stuff. So, that's one of the reasons why, and I'm not like a huge apologist for the president or anything like that, but one of the reasons why I think the mass media doesn't like him so much is because he doesn't follow the decorum that they follow, and he's kind of they're so used to things being a certain way, and he's like, no, this is going to be about you being subordinate to me and me making money for my friends. And coronavirus is not made up by the government. That is, I would say, that is not true. I would say my whole thing, what my whole thing about that is, and hopefully this doesn't get the stream in trouble or anything like that. The virus is very real. And we're in a situation where people could empower both the media, the president, and the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Like when 9/11 happened, everyone was on the same page. We all came together and we're like, we'll get through this. And then horrible foreign policy followed. But anyway, but the point is that various functions of power, like the people all put their differences aside and we're like, we as a nation are going to, come together because we have got a lot of civilian casualties and that's not good. So, we're going to come together. Everyone is, in this current crisis, in it for themselves. I think that, when push comes to shove, the people in power will do what they have to do to ensure that people don't die. But my whole thing is like, as far as the being critical of the president thing, Trump doesn't want the economy to be bad for the presidential election because he oversaw a very good economy, which is an unstable economy. I mean, he's deregulated things, and when you deregulate things, you're going to get big boom and bust. And at least the first part of his presidency has been a boom, and he wants to run on that, and he should be proud of that. I mean, the Trump economy has been good, and he deserves credit for that good economy. He's going to also deserve credit for a bad economy if it goes south, but he wants to run on that. But obviously, you got to shut things down, and, you get kids at home. That means their parents have to watch them. You got to do all this control of people moving around. So, I mean, Trump's thing is like, I want the economy open. I want stuff to go back to normal. The election's coming up. I don't want the economy to be bad and me to lose that thing to run on. That's my speculation as far as Trump's enthusiasm for reopening things. And so people who hate Trump will say, oh, he doesn't care about people. Cares about getting reelected. He's a monster. So it's like, all right, that's one perspective. But then those same people are like all for people going out and protesting in huge crowds. They stand silently while cities get smashed up. And, so therefore, like, massive destruction of infrastructure because it hurts Trump. And the other thing is that you can't tell me that these protests don't spread the virus, because you can't have, like, you'll have these governors saying no large crowds unless it's a protest, and then it's fine. I mean, that makes absolutely no sense on any plane of logic. And all you got to do is, look at a country like Italy to see what can happen if you don't take this virus seriously. Like, Italy's healthcare is, in my opinion, as an Italian, adequate, lackadaisical at times, corrupt at times. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, but the thing is, it's like, Italy is also a very social place, and their hospitals are not always the best. And so what ends up happening, and it's a more laid back culture too. So when you combine those things, and it's also a tourist destination. So when you combined all those things, that was a recipe for the virus to really blow up. And then once that happens, it's very easy, because it's so contagious, it's easy for medical places to get overwhelmed. So that's why you got to take this stuff seriously. I mean, you probably will be fine. There's a very low mortality rate for this thing in terms of percentages, but that can shift if you don't take it seriously. It's like, we've done well enough because people take it seriously. And when you stop doing that, it's gonna, I think it's gonna cause things to spike. But, it's, things definitely could be worse, but people are just not used to just dealing with just chilling in your own house, man. I mean, like, I get it. Like, if you're being unemployed or something like that, I understand. And you need to have financial relief. But these other people that are, like, oh, I feel emasculated because the government's telling me to do something. It's just like, dude, the government's telling you to stay at home and watch TV. Like, this is not, like, there's other stuff to be upset about. And this isn't it. So, I don't know. That's just my take on it. I don't know if you think that's right or wrong, as I'm just rambling, sharing my insights. But yeah, I mean, I think everyone just needs to be more mature, and not use this as an excuse, not use this situation as an excuse to, like, benefit yourself and hurt your enemies. It's a situation where you need to follow the precautions, and don't rush to reopen things for political gain. And here's a clue. Don't complain about people wearing masks and then go out and protest in huge numbers and large crowds, which are known to spread germs, which, there's that. Let's, on that note, watch the opening to Tales of Fantasia. This is a very good opening here. Try to position our TV a little bit more here. Man, this won't, just a lot of saturation there. Yeah, I don't think the world has been prepared for it. I mean, they're getting better. And then different people will be like, oh, well, look at this country, look at this. I mean, like, I've been fortunate enough, like, my city here, we're pretty spread out, so, we've been able to keep our numbers pretty low. But then you got these more densely packed areas, and it's like, it's like, so there's like, population size, living conditions, personal decisions. I mean, there's a whole host of variables. And, yeah, I mean, it kind of came out of nowhere, so. So, just take it seriously, but at the same time, don't lose your mind either. So, I mean, pretty much all you gotta do is just, I'm saying this as I'm scratching my cheek right now. You're not supposed to touch your face, but, just wear a mask, stand 6 feet, bring some hand sanitizer, and don't touch your face, and, don't do anything that's going to lead to a lot of intimate physical contact with random people. But I understand, the cool thing about this sound menu is we can actually do a little bit of, we can actually just listen to the song here. We have a little bit of a CD player going here. So, the cool thing about this this game here is that it really boasted a lot of audio innovation and audio power on the Super Nintendo. So, there's that. But we're actually gonna... we get out of here. Wait, how do I get out of this here? Not that I don't love being in here, because I do. I just kind of want to play the game here. Start won't get me out. So I just stop this here. Okay, well that stopped it. Okay, get me out of here. Do I have to like reset this here? The shoulder buttons change tracks. Graphic equalizer. I'm just resetting this here. If there is evil in this world, it lies in the hearts of mankind. Edward T. Morrison. I opened up my drum gear packages. The hoops I got for a tom I have. I was at the girlfriend's house all day, so I opened it now. I'm back. Oh, that's good. We've been talking about COVID and watching Tales of Fantasia. So, there's that. Welcome back. Alright, let's, new game here. Alvin. Yes. It's boss time. Dude, this game looks freaking fantastic on this monitor. So this game in Star Ocean, really, really good graphics, really crazy good audio. You know, pushing the Super Famicom to new heights. So, I mean, I beat this game, like I said, on the Game Boy Advance. And, I mean, the Game Boy Advance version of this game is, you know, it's cool. It's got a different color palette. The color palette is much more saturated. And it's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just different. And they don't have, at least for the American version of the game, they don't have the cool opening. Which really, really kind of just was a huge bummer for me. I don't want to say it took me out of the experience, but it definitely took me out of the experience of the opening and hurt my, you know, just general enthusiasm, but I still loved the game. And I, you know, this game I beat on the Super Nintendo in ROM form, so I'm a big fan of it. It's been years since I've beaten it and played it, but I really, 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 really like this game. This has a action RPG turn-based style to it. So it's not turn-based in the sense that you just, you know, sit there and toggle through a menu and do stuff. It's like an action RPG within a random encounter with a cool side-scrolling action screen. So it's like, you know, it's like a random encounter, then you're in a fight, you and a partner, and you can toggle between the partners. So it's a really, really good game, and again, crazy good music, crazy good graphics. You know, really showing how amazing the Super Famicom is at producing 16-bit anime-style experiences. So really, really good stuff. This guy's like Dio. How? Who are you and what are you doing here? No. After generations, this curse upon my family finally ends. More JoJo-esque stuff. Incidentally, when are they gonna do Stone Ocean? Hurry it up. 10 years have passed. Here's our fun, harmonious opening to an RPG. Ah, it's good that Mom's fever has gone down. My pendant, the one you gave me for my birthday, what about it? If you guys ever watch Justin Wang's YouTube channel, he has a lot of 90s Japanese RPG music in his videos, and it's actually really fun. He's very good at picking tracks to relate to different themes in his content. Be careful, Chester. I will. See you, sis. Chester, the magazine for guys named Chester. Is that Chester's voice? Oh yeah, I forgot I'm supposed to go hunting with him. I see. We'll talk about it over dinner tonight. Okay, I'll see you then. Good luck, son. Master Tristan, you're more than welcome to stay here with us as long as you like. Thank you kindly, Sir Miguel. I'm glad someone in this house knows how to train rather than go play in the woods. Sorry I'm late, Chester. Master Tristan came by the house. Cless, wait. Oh, looks like his mom is gonna drag him inside by his ear. You know, we really need to have the start of one of these JRPGs be like just straight up an 80s sitcom. Because they all start off, not all, but many of them start off with this, it's like, oh, this is our harmonious little village, and then all of a sudden, you know, something crazy will happen, and things become apocalyptic, and then, like, this really interesting fiction story unfolds. But at this point in the game, they could just, like, straight up do something with a laugh track. It would be lots of fun. When I grow up, I'm going to marry you, Kless. But Mommy says I can't date until I'm 30. That's a shame. Ooh, church. Hello, Father.
Prayer request? Nah. So this priest is concerned about his marriage ceremony. My new hoops are so shiny. Whoa. Nice. I'm glad that you like your purchase. I don't know how you guys feel about playing RPGs on stream. I mean, especially, these more text-heavy ones. I wonder if Barclay's Shut Up and Jam is available for console play, or if that's just something you play on a computer through download. I've heard it's done with RPG Maker, but I don't know which RPG Maker. Let me take a look at the screen here. Hold on. It's funny how that kid mentions that being able to date until 30. Yet in Japan, there seems to be occasional occurrence of being unsuitable as a potential partner past age 25. Interesting. Alright, let's go back to the game. Because of the great sword, teachers here in Totus, there are some great blacksmiths here too. Oh yeah? Let's see what you got. Having the greatest weapon in the world means nothing unless you know how to use it. Okay, so I can't buy anything, it looks like. Can I talk to you for a sec? Sure, Kevin. See if there's anything else I can say to this guy. No, doesn't look like it. Just strolling around here. I mean, the challenge playing an... Are you two leaving? The challenge of playing an RPG late at night, again, as I always say this, is reading makes me drowsy. But at the same time, we're playing Super Nintendo games, and good Super Nintendo games at that, so... Remember, there were encounters on this world map or not? Yep. So here's how the fighting works. Basically, punch, then X's menu, and you can just kind of mess with what you want to do there. So I have some fun there. So, want to see my wares. So we can buy a gummy apple, which gives us 30% HP. Let's get a gummy Venus de Milo here. Well, that statue wasn't difficult to move at all. Now, this is a really interesting style for fighting. You know, it really does a good job of blowing up, you know, the two traditional styles of turn-based fighting, which again I think are amazing as well. But, you know, no over the back, no football screen style, you know, like my line of scrimmage, your line of scrimmage style that came with Final Fantasy. Just, you know, cool 2D sprites. Really attacking some stuff here. Man, let's have encounters here. Alright. Evil... The bugbear. Oh no! I will avenge my friend. A little ghost there. Oh, game over. We flew too close to the sun. They're just marking the end for all hopes and dreams. It's a shame. I'm gonna hit the lights. Hold on. Ooh. All right. Well, that was fun. I'm, you know, thinking we'll probably wrap things up pretty soon. What else should we play? So we played quite a bit on the Super Nintendo Mini, and then we played a little bit of Tales of Fantasia. We could go to the arcade cabinet and maybe play a little bit of Marvel Superheroes. Let's do that. I don't think we've ever... I don't know if we've done Marvel Superheroes on the arcade cabinet. I know we've done Punisher, and I don't know if we've done Children of the Atom. Those are some good games. The only downside to that arcade cabinet is you can't mess with the dip switches, meaning you can't set the difficulty and things like that, so they kind of get what you get. But that would have been nice if you could have been able to do that, since, you know, you do own the arcade machine, so. Alright. Let's start winding things down with a vigorous run on Marvel vs. Capcom. Yeah, see, I'm tired already, and it's just from that little bit of playing that game. I can't read when when it's late. I legit. Whoa. Will start passing out. I'm just trying to set the phone up in the kitchen while I grab some delicious Mike and Ike's candy to power us through the final leg of our live stream here. Movie theater goodness and the comfort of your home never tasted so good. Again, I always like to do this. It's like, look, guys, I'm playing the Game Gear Micro. Like, These RPGs here, they're so good. All right, anyway. Let's get a fistful of these, and then we'll play some Marvel vs. Capcom Clash of the Superheroes. No, the Marvel Superheroes. The Clash of the Superheroes. All right. Nice ramen commercial right here. I love ramen, but there's like way too much sodium. Like, guys, just like tone down the sodium. I don't need like 50% of my daily sodium in a cup of noodles. Oh, how have you been today, Noel? I have not seen that today. Good. I've been well. I sent the gold Famicom Mini to get modded, so that was good. I did a little boxing, and I did some drawing on my manga. I finished a page, and played with Santino, so no complaints. It's been a good day. Oh, yeah. As Ice Cube has said, it's been a good day. Hold on. I'm gonna grab my son's whale chair. Ooh. And make a booster for the arcade cabinet. This way you guys can see what I'm playing here. Got our Neo Geo box. Yes, it is very nice. I didn't see what you wrote. I see it now. Alright. Alright, how do you want to do this here? Maybe this box is a little too high. I'm here. This is clearly, you can tell we're getting to the late portion of the stream, and I'm becoming increasingly delirious. Alright. We've got our phone stand, got our monitor. Try this now. Oh yeah, that's much better. That's perfect. Okay. We'll hit the lights. And we'll see how far we can get in some Marvel superheroes. I've beaten this many a time. Only a couple times in the arcade cabinet, though.
I'm Juggernaut. Stardust strike.
Marvel superheroes. Magneto is a good choice. But we gotta go with my favorite superhero of all time. I'm gonna fight Shuma Gorath. Yeah, and this was my first PlayStation game. Christmas of '97. Beautiful music here. Now Another cool thing about this game is that it lets you utilize the space gems, the infinity gems, by hitting back Hadouken and your 3 punches. Yeah, I can't get too cute with that super move there. Rookie. Had manicures that were tougher than that fight. Showtime. Wolverine's a good character. He's got that nice, fierce punch attack. And these games were so great because they literally took painstaking detail, panel animate, like, you know, how characters look in the comics, down to certain actions taken in different comic book panels, and then incorporated it into the games here. Yeah, you can't completely appreciate how good this game actually looks. The cabinet does a really nice job of giving you a great clear picture. We have a riser for our cabinet too to really give you the same arcade experience in terms of your height of your cabinet and standing up in front of it. Darn it. Man! I see. I couldn't just power through that. Come on. To get our drill claw going here. That wasn't good. I have to redeem ourselves here. Alright, give it another go. But we'll wrap up the stream sooner than later. I can see it's 12:06 right now. So we're all going to be getting a little tired. Some of us might have to, get up in the morning. And I can definitely feel myself not as sharp as I was at the start of the stream. I mean, Spider-Man is pretty much wrecking me right now. Man, that was horrendous. Man, what did this computer, smell blood or something? What the freak? Man. Actually, I probably am best at this game with Spider-Man, but it's gotta go Wolverine. We'll give one more try. You can't beat Spider-Man this try. wrap it up. But here's what I am going to do. We might not fight Spider-Man, so I'm going to actually mix it up here. Try some Magneto. But we're still fighting Spider-Man. Alright. I'm supreme. The record producer behind Murder Inc. Magneto's got that big fierce punch. Got some nice range to it. He also has projectiles. He also has this. What the freak? How is he going through my super move? That makes beyond any sense. That makes no sense. Either I'm just tired and don't have it, or the computer is being cheap as hell here. It's like picked up my moves, or it's like it learned my moves or something. Like Homer when he fought the babysitter bandit. But no, I know her moves. Yeah, dodging that shit right there. Got him, alright. This is Magneto, not that Ian McClellan crap. Power Jeff. Man, I am so freaking sick of him going through that shot. Intense match, it did not end in our favor. Ah. I know I said that was going to be our last one. We're going to try one more time. And then we'll wrap it up for the evening here. I was watching the second episode of Columbo last night. It was good stuff. Columbo was pursuing a villainous young lady lawyer who murdered her upstanding husband to take the law firm. Columbo outsmarted her by having her use fake ransom money to bribe her stepdaughter. Columbo, that guy's just all kinds of my hero. What the freak? He's in a whole bunch of like aluminum. I have him wrapped in Reynolds wrap here, and he's dodging my super move. Nice move there. He can easily dodge. I'm sorry, he can easily do some damage there. Prevent a dodge. Come on. just unloaded on me. Alright, here we go. I have no idea what Magneto says there. His voice for Magneto is different than the one in the animated series, but it really, really fits the character, I think. Bro, do your freaking super move. Well, at least we're making it semi-interesting here. Come on! Darn it! Ah, well. I'm actually resetting this here. There we go. Alright, gang, well, there we have it. That has been, I think I'm going to wrap up the live stream. We've been doing it for 2.5 hours here. So, hopefully a good time has been had by all as we played through some Super Nintendo. That is Marvel Superheroes that we just played. We played through the arcade version on our cabinet here, and we're just about to wrap things up as we're approaching the 2.5 hour mark. So hopefully you all have enjoyed the live stream. We played some Super Nintendo, both on the Mini and then on our big console, which is actually the Super Nintendo Junior. Yes, I will have a good one. Thank you for stopping by. We'll stream again in the near future, next day or so. I definitely have to keep working on my manga, which is coming along. So I don't want to go behind schedule. Thank you for your kick-ass viewing and commenting. So yeah, and then we wrapped it all up playing some Marvel Superheroes. Hopefully the kitchen trips and meandering political dialogue was charming and not off-putting. So thank you for all your friendship and your views. And I will see you guys in the next couple days for random video game fun and who knows what else. So you all rest well. And until next time, my name is Noel. You take care, and I will see you in the very near future. Bye-bye.